All right, so where were we with this experience? So apparently Charles's private secretary has resigned. He resigned a few days after the coronation. This was a bomb, but nobody heard it. Nobody heard it. Nobody saw the fire. It just was like, you know, in the wee hours of the morning kind of a thing, you know. And the guy's name is Sir Edward Young, and apparently he was the private secretary to the Queen from 2004 to 2017 when she died, and then he switched over to Charles, and he was doing double duty with another guy. I don't have his name with me right now because, as you can see, I'm trying to do something about my girth. But it is a hopeless case. But I'm quite inspired by Megan right now to try to get back in shape. So let's see how long that lasts. But anyway, so Charles's private secretary, Sir Edward Young, who served 19 years in the royal family of loyal service, quit right after the coronation. Now, why does that matter? Why is it a bomb? Well, the timing, right? Because he quit right after the coronation, right? I mean, it was like, that means that even before the coronation was finished, it was over. He was just basically, keeping up appearances. And this is a guy apparently in Harry's book. I don't recall it, but apparently in Harry's book, Harry sort of lambasted this guy or spoke less than complimentarily about this guy. And I remember Harry talking about a small group of men in the palace who really served to make Meghan's life quite uncomfortable when she was in England. I wonder whether this guy was one of them. I'm not sure. But apparently, he possibly could have been. And because, the private secretary apparently is the most important member of the royal household. So these people know where all the bodies are buried. They know all the secrets. They stop information from coming into the ears of the king, and they take information out of the lips of the king directly. King or queen, the monarch. And so this guy, Sir Edward Young, was there for 19 years. So he was a trusted person for sure. And he knows secrets. He could write a book like you have never seen, I'm sure. So it's quite possible that he retired because it was just time to retire and he's had enough. But it also could be, and I think that a bomb went off because, again, he was sharing the duty with another guy who is still serving in the capacity of a private secretary, but he's now served. Young is out on his, oatmeal colored tush. So Harry, as I said, didn't have very kind words for these guys. And it's interesting, just on the heels of Harry's revelations in Spare and certain other revelations that I found very questionable, where William, it seemed like someone in the palace was throwing William under the bus. I'm not saying it's this guy, but to me, there was an arsonist in the palace, if you recall me making that video. Again, to be clear, I'm not saying it's this guy because I have no way of substantiating whether it's this guy or it's some other guy. Or maybe it's just my overactive imagination. Maybe there was no arsonist in the palace, but it seemed to me that someone was working very actively to undermine the royal household, to pit everybody against each other, and in particular to throw William under the bus. And I wouldn't be surprised if William launched a formal complaint to his father's household that something's going on here. Someone's out to undermine me and to, basically sell me out to the press. And we need to get to the bottom of this. Because the timing of this man, Sir Edward Young's resignation, I find it to be very, very questionable. And remember how everything was happening, as I said, like with you know, confirming that William does have a temper, that he screamed at his father. Who said that? It's the dad, or it's Camilla, or it's the private secretary, someone who knows where the bodies are buried. And then with Meghan's letter to Charles about what color her child's skin would be, remember how that got leaked just before the coronation? And I was like, there's an arsonist in the palace. There is an arsonist in the palace. And in fact, this guy is out. Again, I am not saying, to be clear, I am not saying that this guy, Sir Edward Young, is an arsonist. I'm not saying he said anything. I'm just saying that the timing, I'm out of breath. The timing of his resignation is very, very suspect. Your thoughts?